Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Farlands or Bust. This is episode 727 of the series. Hi, Wolfie. 727, like that airplane that they no longer fly. But, oh dang it, I think we're going to have a lot of those because we're going to have episode 737 soon, 747. I should really just stop making the Boeing airplane related callouts for all of these episodes, right, Wolfie? But yeah, episode 727, like the plane. As we continue west to the far lands here in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3. This one's coming out on your Saturday, February 9th. 2019. You know, when I said I would like for Farlands or Bust to not be merely a weekly series, I did not instead intend for it to become a bi-weekly series. Because it's been a few weeks here since the last episode. We're in a whole new dang month, dang blaze, hell, blazes. So I appreciate everybody for sticking around. For asking where it's at, and for tuning into this episode, and for donating to Direct Relief Charity. We're currently at $23,469 nice dollars and 69 nice cents. Farlandsorbust.com is where you can donate through our Tiltify, what do I want to call that? Campaign integration? Yeah, Tiltify is how we're raising money and tracking the donations towards direct relief for this season of Farlands or Bust, so I appreciate that support. They sent me a jersey. They did. Tiltify did. It says Tiltify All-Star Charity Fundraiser, something, All-Star Tiltifier, or something like that, and it says Kurt J. Mac on the back. Personally, not much of a jersey wearer myself. It's like a baseball jersey with a button up front. It's pink. Well, no, I think it's more of a Twitch purple, or maybe it's blue. I don't remember. I got it and said neat, and washed it, and there it is. And that's where it is. It's a medium. Maybe I should give it away or something, because I don't think I'm gonna wear it specifically. But it's a fantastical gesture by the Tiltify folk for recognizing our Farlands or Bust campaign the last year here. Thanks in full part to your support. You know, some other numbers I can throw at you. I just checked before we launched the game here, and the world save, that is to say the size of the world save, just surpassed 27,000 megabytes. 27,041.7 megabytes is what the Minecraft launcher is telling me the Minecraft Farlands or Bust world takes on the disk here. So that's crazy. I know it's not technically 27 gigabytes because of whatever, but sure, we'll say 27 gigabytes of a Minecraft world, not building anything, just walking in one direction, a long spindly line that we've pretty much given up on creating any sort of overview or map for. It's just not possible anymore. The map, we cannot be contained within a simple map. It cannot be done. Also, I just don't have the time or the energy to try to make it happen. Clearly, if I can barely get these episodes out on a weekly basis. But yeah, interesting little number I saw there as I started up the game. Woof, Wolfie knows. Wolfie takes up how many megabytes do you yourself take up? Woof. Hey, guess what? It snowed, and it's continuing to snow here in Seattle, the Seattle area. I don't live in Seattle proper, but yeah, one of the main nice reasons that I kind of liked the area is being able to avoid the snow that I grew up with and grew to loathe from my days in the suburbs of Chicago. It doesn't happen that often. Like last year, we maybe got a dusting. I could call it a dusting. It was like melted by the next day. And then the previous year, I really wasn't here for the winter. I moved here in March. But this is a once in a decade event, they say. We got like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, 4 or 5 inches this past Monday. And now there's a second storm, perhaps carrying even more frozen moisture, happening literally as I record this. And the good thing about it, compared to, say, the Chicago winters, is it's not constant, first of all, but it also doesn't come with the dreadful, deadly needles across your skin, frigid, cold temperatures. True, it's lower than freezing, but I don't know. I think the record low is still like in the teens, or at least the positive single-digit Fahrenheits, as opposed to the Midwest and northern Illinois are well into the negative teens. Although at that point, can you really tell? But yeah, that's a good thing. But on the flip side is, I did some research just because I was curious and I'm a nerd. Chicago, the city of Chicago, not even counting the outer towns and cities and suburbs and counties and stuff, just the city of Chicago, which granted has multitudes of more people populating it, but let's just use it for comparison. That was a fun little shortcut. The city of Chicago has over 311 cursed. I think it was like 320, 315 snowplows in the city's employ, and an additional like 300 heavy machinery like dump trucks and loaders and things like that for snow removal in the event of snow. Also, they have billions and billions of pounds of salt, I'm sure. I don't know, I didn't check that. As opposed to the city of Seattle, at least in 2015, which are the last numbers I could discover, the entire city of Seattle has 30 snowplows for the city. Might be more now or less, I don't know, but the city itself. I'm sure they're also supported by the state. The state of Washington Department of Transportation has 100 snowplows on employ to cover the land between Seattle all the way up to Canada, which is a little bit more roadways than the city of Chicago has. Just because it doesn't happen that often, it would be fiscally irresponsible to hire 300 snowplows if this type of snow only happens once every 10 years or something like that. Although who's to say? The summers here in Seattle used to not be a ash-filled hellscape of fire and ash. But since I've moved here, they certainly are. So, yay, global warming, I guess. I don't know. Probably, yeah, who knows? But yeah. So essentially, the city shuts down. I'm further outside the city, and the roads near me still hadn't been cleared or plowed from last Monday's storm, and now this weekend's storm is laying an additional 5-6 inches potential snow on top of that old snow. So that's fun. That's great. I don't need to be anywhere, clearly. It's nice that I don't need to commute, or that I don't have a real job. Although the Subaru did quite well. I went to the shops to kind of stock up, because who knows the next time I'll be able to leave to the outer wilds. So went to the shops, and at least on the old snow, since I lived in Arizona for a few years, and that's where I bought the Subaru. I never drove it in the snow. I've obviously driven in the snow far more than I like to remember. Back when I lived in Illinois, but that was with the old Cavalier, or the older Cavalier, or maybe like my dad's pickup truck or something like that. And those aren't fun to drive in the snow. Those are not fun to drive in the snow. But the Subaru, man, I tell you what, that symmetrical all-wheel drive from Subaru. Visit your local Subaru dealership today for a special offer on the 2018 Subaru XV Trust. No, I'm not at all sponsored by them, sadly. Let's go to sleep and continue in the morning. And awakeness. And wow, I knew that was happeningness. Wolfie? Ah, there you are. So yeah, the snow is interesting. And yeah, there's always a lot of people who are like, look at these people on the West Coast who can't deal with a little snow. Well, yes, it's because our infrastructure is not made for it or prepared for it. And also the topography. Snow in Illinois, where everything is pretty flat, is still dangerous and slippery, but not like here where there's mountains, and specifically in the city of Seattle. There's the Puget Sound, like right here is the Puget Sound. It's a pretty drastic hill, mountains that rise up from the water. So there's a lot of, not obviously, probably not. Well, actually, it's the same similar topography as San Francisco. Any of the kind of Pacific Northwest coastal cities, because it's all what with the geologic activity, the previous millennia of liquid hot magma, and like this. So there's a lot of hills, is what I'm trying to say. A lot of steep hills, and don't matter how many wheels you have driving or brakes you have that are anti-locking. Gravity wins. Gravity wins. So there's a lot of that going around, but it's just the way it is. And like I said, I don't gotta go anywhere. So Juno though seems to like snow, like kind of. I think. I don't know. She's not a very playful dog, as I've said. She doesn't do fetch. She doesn't. Well, really, fetch is kind of the only way you can play with a dog normally. But she's really not much of a playful dog. Doesn't generally get the zoomies or anything like that. But I found a field that was obviously covered in snow and took her off leash for a little bit and chased her around, and she gets out and does some flopping about in the snow. And even today, I took her on a walk when it already started snowing, and a couple times she started to kind of get the, how would I call that? It's not really a run, it's more of a prance. Like, this is exciting sort of thing. And I don't know what it is about snow and dogs, but so yeah. Although she's not the type of dog that'll try to catch the snow in her mouth or anything like that. I threw a few snowballs at her and she like dodges them. So perhaps she's a very good snowball player. She can't throw, but she can dodge. Dodgeball, snow dodge snow, dodge caravan. Yeah, so that's a little bit interesting, I guess. Not totally what I expected, and obviously it's going to put a little bit of a hamper in what I thought was going to be a little bit more possibilities for getting out and hiking and things like that. I don't have snowshoes. I have ice spikes. I don't have snowshoes. My car needs snowshoes, or just better shoes. I have the old tires that I bought it with back in 2015 from Arizona. Obviously, they didn't fit your brand new Subaru with tires capable of snow traversal, or even rain for that matter. So yeah, it's an interesting time. Oh, man. You know, another thing, I've been streaming a lot, obviously, as you know, and some of those are going up on YouTube. I'm doing the whole, seeing if I can't, I don't know, put a goal to playing 365 unique games over the course of this year. Gotten a little bit stuck on Astroneer. Astroneer just came out, and I like it still. So that one's the last few days I've been streaming that, so the game counter hasn't been ticking upwards. But we got talking about because we played what the heck is it called? PC Builder Simulator. And people are like, "Oh, when are you going to build your new PC?" And I'm like, "Ha ha ha ha! I can't. This one will have to do for a while unless fortunes significantly change." And then it got me thinking about all the other sort of hobbies or interests that I have, and they're all very expensive. Is that just what hobbies are? Expenses? Just very expensive things we do in our spare time. Computers, obviously. Video games, yes. Hobby, but also job, but that still doesn't it's delineate between how expensive it is. Hiking, that's the only thing I think it could be cheap. Hiking, or more affordable, or even free. But to an extent, there's an extent where if you are doing it, I'm not saying you can't, but if you are doing it on a budget, then you're limiting the types of hikes. Like I had to buy, because I knew I was going out last year and there was ice on the trails, so I needed to buy snow spikes. And then, since I'm doing a lot of hiking and not just casual hiking, I buy good hiking boots, which are a few $100s. And then, it rains a lot. Got to buy some good rain gear and, a backpack with a water reservoir. And then I starting to look at GPS doohickeys, which that's getting a little bit less necessary for what I'm doing. But I've been disappointed in my phone's ability to do any sort of tracking, because once you lose cell service on a phone or any sort of data, there's no amount of tracking you can really do, because it can't load the maps, or it can't. A lot of times the GPS on a phone is dictated by triangulating your position with cell towers, and if you can't find any of those, you're useless. You're useless. I'm thinking about that. Ooh, that's neat. Speaking of hills. Ooh, can I set up a... This is going to be dangerous. Wolfie, how about... how about you do that, and I'll just slide you over. Get some pictures. Cameras for hiking. Taking pictures of these wonderful vistas. I mostly take pictures on my phone. All right, here we go. Oop, I want F1. There we go. Oop, no, look at me. There we go. He's done it. Even though it was covered up by a cloud at the moment, but that's fine. It's nature. Astronomy? Astronomy is expensive. So much so that I ended up selling when I had 3 telescopes at one point. I sold one, and then I regret, because it was nice, and when I got it, it wasn't so expensive as they've gotten now. But the big Dobsonian telescope I got, my first telescope, I donated to my astronomy club back in Illinois. So I still have a telescope, but it's like, I would like to get back into that. And honestly, there have been some clear nights, and certainly over the summer, there's a lot of clear nights here in the Seattle area. It'd be nice to get back into that, but I'd really like a new this or that, or maybe something smaller that's easier to take, and then you're looking at more hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So astronomy's expensive. Doesn't need to be, of course. Doesn't always need to be. Just kind of the way I just absolutely drape myself. There's more than one of me. I drape myself in my interests, like I've talked about before. You get a one-track mind. Cars, old cars, the Corolla. Gotta find those expensive JDM bumpers. carburetors, fixing things. That's expensive. Rewarding, but expensive. The cars themselves, obviously. Having a dog. Juno's been not too expensive yet. We haven't run into any problems, but I mean, like, okay, buying dog beds and a crate and food, and various adorable little neckerchiefs. You've got to. And then I was thinking also, I'm like, what? I need a creative outlet. I've talked about this in previous episodes. I would like to have a creative outlet back from my days in art. So I was looking at, I took some classes on, in audio and digital music, and getting into music, start looking at like synthesizers and keyboards and stuff, and those are super expensive. So I'm like, maybe not. Art. Not as expensive, maybe, but I do remember vividly having to purchase art supplies for art school, and they were not cheap. Paintbrushes, paint, papers, the various medium upon which you grace your artistic vision. Man, it's... I just am gonna have to take up meditation. That's cheap, right? Except I'm sure you gotta buy a whole bunch of books and instructional things and go to classes. Can't win. Can't meditate. Oh boy. So anyway, we were just discussing that and trying to figure it out, and I think that's just the way of things. I suppose travel. Similar. I guess I put hiking under the same interest as travel, because that's generally why I like to travel. Like, oh yeah, I want to go to Oregon for a weekend, or see what's up on the west side of the Puget Sound, or the east side of the mountains. I've not yet ever been to the high desert of Washington to see what that's all about. Seems interesting. We could just sleep out in the open. We don't need no hotels or campsites or anything, right? Just like this. And awakeness. Indeedness. And a zombie. All right. Oh no. That's what happens. That's what happens when you sleep out in the open. In real life. Listen, you. Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, now I'm wishing I kept that flint that I found so I could make a few arrows. Not that I need them. Indeed. So I do have a few questions here. farlinesofbus.com as reminders where you can donate to Direct Relief Charity and also ask a question when you donate, like Greater Sky did. Have you checked out any of Gabster's newer songs? I have not. Gabster, for those of you who don't know, is a developer on beamng.drive, and all of the beamng.drive trailers and YouTube videos feature the music of Gabster, and also I've taken a good collection of Gabster's music and use it as kind of background BRB or introduction music in my live streams. It's just kind of calm, and it's not super intense. You know, it's calm. It's nice. And no, I honestly I got a lot of those songs years ago, and I've kind of just held onto them in my library, and I've not gone back to see if any new stuff has been released. So I'll have to do that. How do you search or find new music? You know, I was having this thought this morning. I didn't pick this question because of this, but I often, in the past, I would discover new music by listening to stuff on my commute or at work. When I was a web designer, I could just, oh dang it, Wolfie. I could just put on headphones and work, and use like internet radio stations that say I like this music and it suggests this music. But I don't do that anymore, so it's getting tougher and tougher. I did today try... I only listen really to music if I'm driving, which I rarely do, or in the morning with my breakfast. For breakfast, I have music playing over Bluetooth speakers in my kitchen, and I tried the Google Play music, like the what is it called? Like, I'm feeling lucky, like in the search, where it just plays songs based on your previous interests. And it's not very good. It doesn't know my interests, despite me listening to very specific artists and songs for the longest time on the platform. So it's not very good at that. I have found some stuff. Honestly, the last few things I've found have been because I'm looking for an artist or a song on YouTube, and something else shows up as recommended. I found some new stuff, but no, I haven't really found any new things lately that I probably, stuff I've already shared with you guys. So it's a little bit of a bummer, but I'm also not sure where to look. And even if I did find something new, I wouldn't know when to listen to it. I gotta find a way to do that or something. I don't know. Or not. Who knows? A while ago, Greater Sky continues, you mentioned you were trying to listen to more female artists and singers. Are you still? I don't know if I'm trying or so that it just is happening that way. I kind of went down a path. St. Vincent, and then who else have I found? Courtney Barnett, and then Sharon Van Etten, and who surprisingly was in the Netflix series The OA, which I watched and was entertained by, but perhaps not completely sold on the series. And then Angel Olsen is kind of the most recent artist that I found. I think that was through like YouTube, where they're doing, it's always, this artist is playing on KEXP. So then like in the next related to this YouTube video is this person playing at KEXP in Seattle, by the way. So kinda, but also not like fully intentionally, to be honest. And again, I don't have time to listen to a lot of stuff, which sucks. So I'm sure there's a lot I'm missing. What am I missing, Greater Sky? What am I missing? But thank you very much for that question and donation. Indeed. TDW fan has a question that I'm not sure how to answer. A little bit far-reaching here. What does it mean to be a man? To be a man. Let's ask this sheep. Do you know? Where are all the pink sheep, by the way? We've not seen one in years. We had a whole season dedicated to finding the pink sheep, and now they've all vanished. Did we make them extinct? I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel like a man. I mean, when you say man, I think of like adult man, fatherly figure, leader, which again is stereotypical jibba jabba. But yeah, I've never felt like that. It sometimes dawns on me if I see a picture of myself and I realize that I look kind of like my dad because I'm balding and all this other stuff. But that gives me the heebie-jeebies more than anything. I'm gonna say not worrying. I'm not to say you're worrying, but not trying to define the answer to that question. Like, similarly, what does it mean to be a woman? Or anything in regards to that. Perhaps letting go of those questions and just being yourself, whatever that might be. I don't know. I'm this is now serious inter-social hour with Kurt J. Mac. Intersocial? What's the word I'm looking for? Introspection. Introspective hour with Kurt J. Mac. I knew we were into something. So yeah, I guess, I mean, it doesn't, like, I think the better question is what does it mean to be human? And then that's a much more interesting chestnut to crack, or not crack, to just hold on to and show people and discuss with people, I guess. That's more of a thing to think about, I think. Like, it doesn't matter. You could be one thing or another. To be human is okay. You gotta kind of come to terms with the fact that, yeah, we are animals, organisms. We're no different, better, whatever than the other forms of life on this planet. But we do have this pesky little thing called intelligence that perhaps gives us a higher responsibility to be aware of both the fact that we aren't at our core any different, but we have more awareness and can change and affect both the other inhabitants that we share this planet with and also the other humans. And to do so with not, I suppose, selfishness or lack of empathy, but to do so in kindness and gentleness and sharing and, perhaps because we do have this knowledge that we have to maybe consider protecting. Take more of a protective stance over each other and where we're at and everything else that makes everything what it is. Is that? I mean, this is all off the top of my head. I don't read. I don't I haven't, like I said, it would be interesting. Ooh, that'd be another hobby. Get into like philosophy or not philosophy or whatever this metaphysical and figure out what my M&M number is and that sort of stuff. But I guess that's just feels like that sort of thing should be easy. Careful, Wolfie. Should be easy to grasp. I mean, that should kind of be the default position where we all come from. I know it's not, and maybe one of those responsibilities is to recognize that it's not, and to correct it when it's not, or at least work to correct it when it's not. I hope I'm making any sort of sense. But I think that's my overall thesis. In reply to the question, what does it mean to be a man? That question doesn't matter. It's less about that and more. If you can think bigger, and greater than that, I feel. Right, Wolfie? Right. Right on cue right there. That was not delayed at all. Whoops, that's wrong. All right, so I need a pickaxe, and that's going to be the last thing I can make with iron. So we need some iron, I guess. I mean, I can make stone tools. But what is this? The Stone Age? What am I, some sort of lowly animal? Oh, man, I'm great at teaching. I'm helping. Let's make some beds for the next episode, shall we? Boop, boop, boop. And maybe a boat. How convenient. We ended in a snow biome here, which is where I'm going to be trapped for the next week or so. And I hope everybody is doing well and is safe, regardless of whatever weather or stuff is going on around you. And know that I appreciate you sticking around despite my wacky, crazy schedule that I keep. Non-schedule that I don't keep, perhaps is a better way to put that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to continuing on here in Farlands or Bust. Keep donating at farlandsorbust.com and ask questions, because I'm currently completely out. And if you think I can come up with more of these topics to keep myself talking, like the hobbies thing and the snow of this episode, you might be incorrect. I might be grabbing at straws here in a little bit. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time. Gah! Astronomy?